What's up, everybody? So, I'm Chester Noses Pangilinan, grade 11 Dahil Super Luneta, under the strand of the Humanity and Social Sciences. So today we're going to talk about how gender inequality brought social, cultural, political changes to the society. So let's start in 3, 2, 1, go! So, what is really gender inequality? Gender inequality is the disparity between individuals regarding their gender. People who treat people unequally with regards to gender may have disappointment and anger towards the people they treat unequally. Also, this problem is discrimination on the basis of sex or gender, causing one sex or gender to be routinely privileged or prioritized over another. So, how did it brought societal changes, cultural changes, or political changes? So, let's start with the societal changes. So, in the society, gender inequality disempowers women and girls in ways that deprive them of their basic human rights. By that social change, an example can be women are the ones who are less likely than men to join the labor force and work for pay. When they do, they are more likely to work part-time in the informal sector or in occupations that have lower pay. Next, in culture or the cultural changes. In culture, women have been particularly marginalized from cultural life. They face many barriers to access, contribute, and participate equally, which prevents them from developing their full potential and impedes social and inclusive sustainable development. From a report that was done, it pointed out some symptoms like the limited participation of women in decision-making positions, discrimination in certain activities, restricted opportunities for continuing education, capacity building and networking, women's unequal share of unpaid care work, poor conditions of employment, and as well as gender stereotypes and fixed ideas about cultural appropriate roles for both genders. Lastly, in politics. In politics, gender stereotypes about female politicians still exist. From the data of the 2006 American National Election Studies, pilot studies showed that voters of both sexes, regardless of their political persuasions, expected men to perform better as politicians than women. Because of that, women had to fight for equal treatment in politics. Besides all of those, a Filipino social science theory can be related to this, which is Psikolohiyang Pilipino. So, what is Psikolohiyang Pilipino? Psikolohiyang Pilipino is a psychology rooted on the experience, ideas, and cultural orientation of the Filipinos. Virgilio G. Enriquez, psychologist, is the father of this Filipino social science theory. In this particular problem, which is gender inequality, it can be analyzed through the concepts and terms of it. The concepts and terms of Psikolohiyang Pilipino are the following: kapwa, pakipagkapwa, bahala na, hiya, and utang na loob. Kapwa is a key concept of Psikolohiyang Pilipino, where it connotes unity of the self and others, same as treating one another as equal fellow human beings. Next is pakipagkapwa. Pakikipagkapwa is the process of connecting myself with others, feeling myself in the other, and having a sense of shared identity and a shared inner self. Relating the concepts and terms of Psikolohiyang Pilipino, it must start with the key concept kapwa. It is said that kapwa connotes the unity of the self and others. Here, people who treat people equally with the base of their gender does not contain unity of the self to others for the reason they might have anger or disappointment to them. Next is pakikipagkapwa. Pakikipagkapwa is defined earlier as the process of having the connection of the self to others, same as the relation of the key concept kapwa. People do not connect themselves to others because they have anger disappointment to the people who they discriminate. These two key concepts can be related to gender inequality, but the other way around, or in other words, relating it in the negative perspective. The last terms and concepts can be related to the given issue are the rethinking Filipino values, which are the following: bahala na, hiya, and utang na loob. Bahala na is a fatalistic resignation from an engagement or crisis. Also, it is determination and risk-taking. In relation, truly, people who look at people equally with the base of their gender contain that base that because they live whatever happens to the people who experience this. In short words, people who discriminate do not mind them whatever happens. Moving on to the next rethinking Filipino value, which is hiya. Hiya means shame and awareness of being in socially unacceptable situations. People do not contain this value of hiya because the belief is that people are brave in discriminating, stereotyping, and treating them unequally based on their gender. The last rethinking Filipino value is utang na loob. This value translates to debt of one's inner self, and it means returning the favor with interest. The relation of this value to the issue is negative because people who discriminate or treat people unequally regarding to their gender did not do anything good to them, and there is no favor returned because negative things are being done. We know that different social science disciplines can help solve this issue, same as the career opportunities. So I picked the social science discipline, which is psychology. So under psychology, there are career opportunities. There are career opportunities that I have chosen: a counselor and a social psychologist. So let us look forward first to the counselor. So what is a counselor? A counselor is a qualified individual who uses counseling methods to help people manage and overcome mental and emotional issues. Their duties include listening to patients, developing treatment plans, and creating coping strategies. They work in mental health facilities, hospitals, and schools. Also, this career opportunity can help to assist the person or persons in realizing a change in behavior or attitude, to assist them to seek the achievement of goals, assist them to find help. This career opportunity can address gender inequality, like what I have said earlier. Gender inequality refers to the unequal treatment of perception of individuals based on their gender. So here is how counselors help. With that, a counselor can give advice to the people who stereotype or the ones who discriminate, same as the people who are discriminated based on their gender. The counselor will give advice on what they're going to do and the action that can help solve and gender inequality. For example situation. You are the person who discriminates, right? My advice is to stay calm, quiet, and start to treat people the way it should be. That way, the GEM community and society of the people who experience this problem will happen with the help of them or the help of counselors. Next, moving on to the second career opportunity under psychology, which is a social psychologist. A social psychologist studies the relationship between social interactions and human behavior and well-being. They study interpersonal and group dynamics and social challenges such as prejudice, implicit bias, bullying, criminal activity, and substance abuse. They research social interactions and the factors that influence them, such as group behavior, attitudes, public perceptions, and leadership. This career opportunity can address gender inequality. Social psychologists work together to study what really happens to an individual or human being when issues are being created by them regarding to each point of their behavior. So, they study it. Afterwards, they discuss, describe, predict, determining, and explain it until they come up with a solution to the issue. The solution that they came will be implemented, and the society that is being dreamt of every person will happen. So, that's all, guys. Thanks for watching, and thank you everybody for watching. Bye.